Welcome to Susan's Reading Corner. Allow me to take you on a journey into the lives of the McGuires, a family residing in the village of Blackstone. Part 1. The editor of the Blackstone Chronicle, Oliver Metcalf, nervously presides over the ceremony to begin the demolition of the old Asylum. But the building's fate hangs in the balance as financing problems halt the project. Contractor Bill McGuire, all set to proceed, can't hide his dismay. With a family and another baby on the way, he can't afford delays. Then, a package arrives at the McGuires. A beautiful antique doll with long blonde hair. His daughter Megan wraps her arms around it. His wife, Elizabeth, remains suspicious. Who sent the doll? Who is it for? What neither Elizabeth nor Bill can know is that this innocent-looking gift brings with it a murderous menace. And now, John Saul presents the Blackstone Chronicles, Part 1, An Eye for an Eye, the Doll. Elizabeth McGuire was worried. It had now been nearly 24 hours since her husband had gotten the call from Jules Hardwick. Though the banker told Bill that the small problem that had come up about the Blackstone Center wasn't particularly serious, Bill had been brooding ever since. All through yesterday afternoon, his agitation had grown worse. By dinner time, even Megan, who in the 6 short years of her life had rarely failed to bring a smile to her father's face, was unable to extract anything more than a grunt from him. Bill spent most of the night pacing the house, finally coming to bed only when Elizabeth had come downstairs, rubbing her distended belly, and informed him that not only was she lonely, but their soon-to-be baby boy was too. That had at least brought Bill to bed, but she was aware that he hadn't really slept. By dawn, he was already dressed and downstairs, getting in Mrs. Goodrich's way. Worse, when Megan came down 10 minutes ago, the first thing she wanted to know was if her daddy was sick. Elizabeth assured the little girl that her father was all right, but Megan wasn't convinced and volunteered to take care of her daddy if he was sick. Only when Bill himself had given her a hug and declared that he was fine, had she gone off to the kitchen to help Mrs. Goodrich with the breakfast dishes. Now, as she poured Bill a second cup of coffee, Elizabeth tried to reassure him one more time. If Jules Hardwick said it's nothing serious, I don't see why you don't believe him. Bill sighed heavily. I wish it were that simple, but everything was all set. I mean, everything, right down to the wrecking ball day before yesterday. Which was mostly ceremonial, Elizabeth reminded him. It's not like you're tearing the whole building down. You told me yourself the ball was mostly for show. It was still the beginning, Bill groused. I'm telling you, Elizabeth, I just have a bad feeling about this. Well, you'll know in another 20 minutes, Elizabeth told him, glancing at the clock. It'll be all right. I know it. She heaved herself up from the table, suppressing a groan. This has to be the heaviest baby in history. It feels like it weighs 40 pounds. Bill slipped an arm around her, and together they walked to the front door. See you in an hour or so, he said. He kissed her distractedly and was just reaching for the doorknob when the bell rang. He opened the door to the mailman, standing on the porch, holding a large package. "Another present, Charlie?" he asked. "Is this one for Christmas or the new baby?" The mailman smiled. "Hard to say. Christmas is only a couple of weeks away, and the package just says McGuire. Take your pick, I guess. Don't wait too much, for whatever that's worth." "It means I can take it," Elizabeth said, reaching for the package as Bill started down the steps. "Thank you, Charlie." "Just doing my job." The mailman touched his cap, almost as if saluting, and Elizabeth had to resist the urge to return the salute. Contenting herself with a wave, she called a goodbye to her husband and went back into the house, quickly closing the door against the early December chill. Taking the package back to the dining room with her, she stared at it, puzzled. Just as Charlie had said, it bore no other name but McGuire, and their address, written in neat block letters. There was no return address. "Curiouser and curiouser," she quoted softly as she tore away the brown paper that enclosed the parcel. She was just opening the box itself when Megan came in. "What's that, Mommy? Is it for me?" Elizabeth peered into the box, then lifted out a doll. A beautiful antique doll with blue glass eyes and long blonde hair. Save for the doll, the box was empty. Her eyes went once more to the empty spot where the sender's name should have been. "How strange," Elizabeth said. You have been listening to The Blackstone Chronicles by John Saul. An Eye for an Eye, the Doll. Narrated by Susan's Reading Corner. Thank you for tuning in, and please subscribe. New episodes will be released every Monday and Thursday. As always, I will see you on the other side of a book.